Okay, so it's another Tangle Tuesday. This is the second, the last one before I take a month off in August. And but I've got yesterday. Bob and I, we work hard together, and we put on more dates till the beginning of November. But all through August, I'm going to be spending time with my family, who I haven't seen for nearly 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, that's a long time. So, yeah, that's a long time. Okay. Okay. So today, I just brought this little turtle out because I had the Tangle Turtle class on this past Saturday and it was a lot of fun. And I recorded it. So if you're interested in doing it, you can go to my blog, Color, CLOUR, Garden Tangles, blogspot.ca and go under instructional videos, and there's a link to sign up for that. And then you have it, and you can make turtles, all sorts of turtles. So that's that. And then I just kept going. So my niece is an artist. She's a really good artist. And she likes to do postcard art. Now, let me see. Do I have it here? Oh, yeah. So this is her post. She sends me this postcard, but then this is her art on there. And my name. The kids call me Aunt Red Ant. I don't know how it happened, but that's how it happened. And so she did this lovely card for me with the red ant. So I'm sending her one back. And my suggestion was that I send one that started and then she continues. So I did a little turtle. And as you can see, so I'll send it to her way up in Peace River, Alberta, which is the far north for you Southerners. And hopefully she'll finish it and either send it back or take a photo, or keep it and give me a photo of her work. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she does. Little exchange. So today you're going to need some sort of paper. It doesn't have to be a Zentangle tile if you don't have that. And here's one here. Just happen to have one right here. So it's got the Zentangle thing on the back. I'm going to use that today. Usually I use a bigger one, but I thought, well, let's use the zoom feature, and because sometimes they're so big I never get them done. So I thought I want to get this done. I've got you're going to need some sort of fine tip pen. If all you have is a Bic pen, that'll work, whatever you've got. This happens to me a Micron PN by Sakura, and it's got a hard nib pen tip. And I also have a backup pen, which is my Faber-Castell Pitt pen, which I really love. And it's S for small. You can see it's got a little small. So it's about equivalent to an 01 micron, or maybe an 03, or maybe in between. I don't know, but tiny. You're going to need a pencil. I have a Zentangle pencil. And optional, you can use a blending stump if you're going to use graphite. Option, I always have like lots of options. And if you like to color, you can have markers. So I've got a pile of markers here. I might bring out the Koi coloring brush pens, which are water-based. And I'm also got here my Prismacolor pencils. So I have a set of 100 and, what does it say on the box here? I bought them on sale. So this is that half price off coupon at Michael's. That's what you'd use this for. 132 crayons. Well, I'll never use that. So what I do is I just take my faves and I put them in a separate box. And, you know, if I need another color, I can go to the big box and get it. And I've got some jelly rolls here this morning to do a little accent on, maybe. We'll see how it goes. So I invite you to sit comfortably in your chair. I encourage you to try to touch the floor with your feet if you can. Not everybody can do that, and I appreciate that. You might want to put a block under your feet or a book just to give yourself some sort of support, your legs support, and try to sit back in your chair and feel the weight of your body in your chair. You just feel that. Take a minute to really appreciate a little bit of gravity. Keeps us from floating around in space. Probably a good thing. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe floating would be fun. Especially now I'm thinking about all the recent space explorations and floating in space. Anyway, I'm digressing. So let's get started. So this is an option. You can do a border or not. You can do it edge to edge, this design. You're going to take your pencil. I'm going to do a little border and do the 4 Zentangle dots, 1 in each corner. And just draw a line. And you can draw the line straight. You can make it wavy, zigzaggy, whichever way you feel is good. So there. Don't do it this way. I'm going to turn it that way. All right. Then I'm going to take my pen. So we're going to jump right into pen today. And I've got my micron. And the design is going to go from this corner and spread out. You want to make sure that you don't go too far up. So you might even want to put a little bit of a dot here so that you know on one side and maybe over here, just to give it some space. Give it some space at the top corner. I'm going to turn it right on its corner. Right on, so it's more of a diamond shape. And the first thing I'm going to do is do a half moon shape. So this is quarter of the way along these lines where it ends. Then I'm going to aura that line. Move this up a little bit so you can see. Anytime you can't see, just let me know. And then we're going to do the tangle called Lotus Pods by Margaret Bremner. And you're going to do these kind of organic shapes. And some are going to be partially on the edge, maybe like that. And fitting together with a little bit of space in between. Not quite round, not quite square. And then this is kind of a little touchy in here with the pen. I might switch actually to a smaller pen. So let's try this one. So, and that's another thing to remember. You don't have to do the whole thing with the same pen. You can switch your pens out to different sizes. So this is a smaller nib, so I'm just going to go on the inside of this and aura around the inside. If there's room, if there's no room for that on yours, you can leave that part out. This is tiny, tiny work. This is what I call mouse work, which means you're just having a tiny little view, little mouse view of what you're doing, as opposed to a big view like a hawk. And then in here, if you have room, you can just do little dots. Tiny, tiny little dots. Let's see. Ooh, I can do that. Make it a little better for you. Tiny, 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 tiny peppery dots in the center. Kind of looks like amoeba. And then you can go in here, and I've switched back to my larger nib pen, the PN, but you could use a small one as well, and black in these dots, or this space, pardon me, the negative space around the little shapes. And try to, while you're doing this, try to remember to look straight down at what you're doing. We tend to, at least I tend to, and I know a lot of people do because I see it in classes, try to look under your drawing hand at what you're drawing, so that you might be drawing like I'm right-handed, then you're going to be twisting a little to the left to get a better view, apparently, but not really. So if you can try to remember to look straight down, keep your back straight as opposed to curved, everybody will be much happier in the body department. And that's how you become an old artist, by taking care of these little things. Okay, so you might have something like this, and if you don't have something that looks like this, that looks a little different, that's fine. And I want to state that anytime that you feel that, hey, this isn't the tangle that I want for here, I want to do something else, and I know something else would look really good, then feel free to do that. I encourage you to experiment. Okay. So this next sort of band here, we have some, I got just clean this up a little bit, is going to be petals. And if you, I'm going to do the petal formation mumsy, but if you're a version of it, if you, or it's actually might be zinnia, it looks more like zinnias, have another flower version you want to try, like henna drum or something else, some other petal form, feel free to do that. So mumsy, or zinnia, I think it's called, is very straightforward. And then you're going to go, yeah.
What was the name of the last one you did?
That one is called Lotus Pods. Let me write this down.
Thank you.
Lotus, thank you. Margaret Bremner. Oops. Sorry, Margaret, I must have misspelled your name. And her website, her blog is called The Enthusiastic Artist. And it's worth following. You will learn a lot. Okay. So then we're going to come and join this up to the middle, little arcing lines. And as it grows, it's going to get, the petals are going to be larger, as you can see. And in here, you could do little designs. So you could do, say, a line and some dots coming out. Or something else that you can think of. That would be really cool in there. And you don't have to do it right now. You could come back to it. Say, oh, I want to think about that for a while. Okay, so then we're just growing our little tangle pattern here as Zentangle. And we're going to do some leaf shapes coming out. Then in between here, you can do them this way. You can also, do them, let's do it with a pencil. You could also do them in between here like this. Whoops, something like that. More of a full leaf. Or mix them and interchange them. So I think I'll do this one a full leaf over here. You get to decide how you would like to do it. Okay. So in one of the leaf forms, just pick one, is something called breech. And I'm just going to double check in a minute here to make sure I got the name and the creator properly. But in one of the leaf forms, you can start by coming up at the bottom and doing this kind of little arcing line. And then aura that line down. And then thicken that line that you just did. And you could leave it the way it is, or you could do maybe some fine lines coming out. And you could intermix this, so you could do, one that way and then one sort of a traditional leaf form with regular veining. Something like that. You could combine them, or you could just keep going. I really like this. I want to keep going on it. Go right over my pencil that I did here. Do this little arcing line and come back.
Loretta,
Yeah.
I had a question regarding that. I apologize if you had already said that tangle, but would you consider that like a fragment or a reticula?
Reticula?
Reticula. Thank you.
I think that is a very good question. And I'm not very good at putting things in boxes or categories.
That's a good question. That's
yeah.
a good fine answer. Thank you.
Okay. But I would say that it's whatever you want it to be. How does that sound?
Love it.
Okay. It was shown as a tangle, or it was shared as a tangle. So I'm assuming that's what it is. Okay, let me just look it up. So now you got me curious. Okay. It is, okay. It's shown as, here, I'll show it to you here. You can see that. So it's definitely a tangle. It's, she uses it in a Zentangle. And the name of the, so it's breech. And I just lost it. Her name is Yuru Chen. Okay. I just think it's a beautiful tangle because it's very simple, but it has such lovely graphic lines. If you see little lines that sort of jut out, you can go over them. Or if they don't quite connect, you can add a little connection. Nothing wrong with that. Sort of clean them up a little bit if you wish to. You don't have to. Okay, so then we're going to have some sprigs coming out in here. So I'm just going to do some arcing lines. Not too far. I don't want to get too far up here. So I'm just being very mindful of that. And then using flux, the official Zentangle pattern flux. I'm just going to spell that in case somebody's not hearing it correctly. Don't want to make a mistake. That's what it's spelled like. And just going to do these teardrop kind of patterns. You can make the bulbous end larger if you want, somewhere like that, or more narrow like I'm doing, or a combination. Just little leaflets. Do one on the end there. You can do some little lines and dots to represent veins inside. I'll do another one here. Again, I'm not going too far up the tile. I'm not going to try to squish it in there either. I'm going to make sure that I've got space. Sometimes when you try to squish things in, it makes us feel a little more confined. So give yourself some space. Then you can have them so they cross over and under each other. I like that Zentangle. One of the things that it's taught me is really patience. I'm not a very patient person, or I certainly wasn't. I'm more patient now. And I came across a situation where there were some dogs in a vehicle in a parking lot and it was hot. It was already probably 25 degrees outside. Their windows were open quite a ways and the dogs were barking. They weren't under distress, but it really bothered me. So I called the line you call to report such things and got put on hold. And while I'm waiting, okay, I just have to wait and wait. And this older senior lady walks out with one bag of groceries and gets in the car. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to rat on her. I'm not going to tell her this is wrong. I'm just going to walk away, hang up and walk away. And sometimes, you know, things just need that bit of time to understand the situation. I don't agree with what she did. I don't think it was good, but maybe she had no choice. Who knows? She wasn't gone very long and nobody was harmed by it. So, but it just sort of brought home that to watch and be patient message, to watch before acting. And maybe your little flex leaves have changed their shape while you're doing this, gotten smaller or larger, and that's okay. Just let them do what they do. I also want to mention that if you haven't joined the Tangle Tuesday, 2 words, um, Facebook group, that you want to do that to see what's on there. It's for sharing work that you've done from these lessons only and not other work, please. And we're nearly at 300 members, which is astounding to me. Pretty soon, once we hit the 300 mark, I will do a drawing for some cool stuff, and we'll just keep going, and maybe we'll hit 500 soon. Who knows? But I want to thank everybody who's taken the time to subscribe to the YouTube channel at Color Garden Studio, and or join the Facebook group. Okay, so you should have some space up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bee. And you can do this in pencil first. I always feel that a little more confident in pencil when I'm drawing any kind of thing, like an animal or an object. So, if you feel more comfortable doing this in pencil first, go ahead. I'm going to do it over here because we're going to do some stuff over there. So you might want to do it on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, maybe over here. And I'm going to have my bee going this way. So the head's going to be here. So the head's just a circle. Then a C shape with a tail on the end. Oops, see it a little bit rounded there. Some wings coming off. Little teardrop shape wings. Some cool looking antenna. Doesn't have to be fancy. If you know how to do a fancy bee, go right ahead and do it. So I'm going to turn my tile a little bit and then go over it with a pen. So I've got the head and the body, the wing, another wing, the antenna, and then some stripes. blacken this a little bit here. A little bit white right there. And over here. Then coming off him, you're going to, with your pen, just do little dots and sort of trace his pathway or her pathway. You know, it could be all over the place here because they don't do, well, they do a beeline, that's true, but they also do a lot of flitting around. So we'll have it come right off the page. Excuse me. So I'll give you a minute to catch up there. Okay. So then, if you'd like to, I invite you to, you don't have to, with a pencil, you can write along here somewhere where it feels comfortable to you. Let it be. Which was my lesson. My lesson for the week was let it be. And I don't know if you've ever heard Paul McCartney talk about that song and how it came to be. I heard an interview with him. He was saying that it was after his mother had passed and he was having a difficult time in his life. And his mother's name was Mary. And he was meditating or, you know, some sort of state. And she came to him. It might have actually been in a dream. And she said, let it be. So when he talks about Mother Mary, he's talking about his own mother and to let it be. It's always a good thing to remember. So I'm going to just restate my lines on the border here. And then go over my lettering here. And then what I'm going to do, I have some pencil lines on here. I've got a kneaded eraser. I'm going to erase the pencil lines, and that's an option. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. So just going to go through here and just, I use a kneaded eraser because they're soft and they won't rip the paper, make little holes. And because they're soft, they can get into the little dimples in the paper quite easily. And here, you know, this might be your today. This is where I'm at. I don't want to add color. I like it. It says a statement. It's joyful. It has a message. And this is where I'm going to end it. That's fine. You could also add some shading with a pencil and a tortillon or your finger. Spread some graphite around there and maybe do a little bit of color. So on this sample, I did a different flower here. I did henna drum and I did some different leaves combination. But all I did was add a little yellow for the bee. So that gives you an idea of, you know, what you could do if you don't want to add a lot of color. And I did it differently too. I did a different design here. So let's add some color here. So I've got this yellow marker. This is a Denta pen, and I like it's yellow because it's not. A lot of marker pen yellows tend to be more on the cool side. This one's a little more on the warm side. So go in here. Actually, it's got two nibs. It has a felt nib and a bullet nib. And it comes in, I think, just a few colors. Then I'm going to take my colored pencils and do a little bit of work on the flower. So I've got this process red Prismacolor. What's it called? Prismacolor 994. I'm just going to turn my tile over and sort of see what works together. I like that. It's kind of a dark pink. And then I have a violet, Perma Violet, PC1008. Put that together. That goes pretty well. So you could, I've got my blending pencil here. I have some white. I usually have a blending pencil. Whoops, let's see. I don't have one today. It's disappeared. So I'll use white. It's okay. So I'm looking here and that this violet's the darker color. So I'm going to start with this lighter color. And just very lightly. So the key with colored pencils is not to really grind the pigment in into the paper, but just very lightly. I'm going to do that. So it's just a small area. If you're doing a large area, you can hold the pen or the pencil at the end and just go back and forth. So that's your traditional way of using it. So you would do back and forth like this. And you can do that in a small area too. I just find going in circles in small areas a little more helpful. So you don't want to choke it like this. If you start choking, the pencil, you will press harder. So if you hold it at the end, same as similar as you would hold a brush if you're painting, you hold it at the end. You still have control, but you tend to go lighter with your pressure. So most of my strokes have been going this way, sort of back and forth horizontal, so then I can turn it and sort of like this way. Figure what I'm doing here. And I can now go this way. That's going to smooth it out a little bit and darken it a little bit. And if you really like colored pencil, I'd recommend that you buy colored pencil paper because it has a certain tooth to it that really helps to grab the colored pencil. Strathmore makes a really good one. And I've seen it, I've bought it at Michael's, so it's very easy to obtain, or any art store. Comes in a big pad with a coil binder. So I'm just gonna go in here with the purple. And these little cleft spaces. And you get to decide just, you know, do I want color, do I not want color, and just how much color do I want to add on this. Maybe you just want a little accent. And then go back, I've got my white crayon and just gonna lighten up this area, maybe blend it a little bit. And because my pencil's short, I'm choking up on it, but you can get, and I've got to order one, I haven't done, a pencil extender. So it fits on the end of your short pencils so that you are back here and not up there. So that gives you an idea of what you can do. What I'm going to do is just quickly show you on this one some shading that you could do. If you've decided, hey, I'm just going to do the little yellow bee and a little shading. So let's do a little shading of the wings. So I'm just going to come in here a little bit and there a little bit. Shade the wings out. My torchon. And then I'm going to do these little spaces here at the bottom of these little leaflet shapes. Oops, things are flying. Then if I want to, I can come in here and do some shading along the center of this leaf shape. And then along the edge right here, so it shows that it's in behind the petal. Let's do this one here and we'll go to the flower. Then in the flower shape here, I can do some shading. Coming along. So that gives you an idea. You can add some color as much as you want. Maybe color and shading together looks great usually. And or just a little bit of color and a little bit of shading, and you'll have a really nice project completed. So if you're watching the video, be sure to like the video if you do and subscribe. And we'll see you next week.